Hey, Sunday morning, mid-morning or so, going to give you a quick update on the tropics and, of course, what's going to be happening next week here with the wave situation. It does look like we are going to get some surf here, a little bit from Cristobal, also a northeast fetch. So we're going to go over some maps here and show you what I think is going to play out here. Still, there's a little bit up in the air, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. First, let's look and see what the latest advisory is. This is the 11 o'clock advisory, 45 mile per hour winds, and moving to the north-northwest at 7 miles per hour. The thinking is it's just going to drift around here for a little bit, like through Tuesday. It's not going to move all that much, and it's going to slowly strengthen. Then it's going to move back towards the coast a little bit, kind of a little jog towards the coast before finally a second trough is going to come through and pull it out. The first trough right now, that's what's pulling it up here, but it's going to leave it behind. This thing is running off really quickly this way, so then it's going to be gone. Then it's going to get left down here and then meander around a little bit, and then finally the second trough will come and pull it on off. It's going to strengthen to a hurricane by the time that happens too. Still some model differences out there, but finally we're getting a clearer picture on what's going to go on. Now, first we're going to look at the GFS here. This one not doing so well with the situation, and I'll show you the differences here coming up. But first, this is this afternoon. What we do have going for us right now is we have this fetch right here that's developing off the Carolinas and stretching a long ways here, all the way off of, say, Cape Cod, and that is what's going to give us some waves come starting Tuesday. We're going to see that swell start to move on in. So somewhat related here. This is Cristobal right here, so not really related to that, but what Cristobal is going to do as it moves up into here, it's going to enhance this all the way and just drag this northeast wind right down into our area, and that's going to mean some blown out mess here starting on Tuesday. The big question is going to be how large of a system is this going to develop into, how far offshore it's going to be from us, and whether its winds are going to affect our local weather here and our local winds, and hopefully give us some offshore winds sometime in the future and not just make this totally blown out, which is kind of what the GFS is saying right now. So let's go to, this is Tuesday, this is Monday night now. Monday night, and you see Cristobal here, kind of still an elongated system, the GFS says. This is why I don't really think the GFS has a handle on this, because it's not really strengthening like the Hurricane Center is saying it's going to do. It's not really strengthening Cristobal all that much, and it's kind of really tearing it apart, kind of pulling it apart here, making it a little bit elongated. But regardless, I think this end result is the same. Here comes the surge line here of these northeast winds, and that's going to be on us by Monday, say late Monday. So if you want surf on Monday, you're going to have to go up coast some. That's where we're going to see the best chance for that. I think here in Palm Beach County, we are going to see maybe a little bit of a swell start building in late Monday, but the bulk of it coming on Tuesday. So here's Tuesday morning right here, and definitely you can see the hard onshores are pushing all the way through South Florida. The strongest of it here, still we have a nice fetch stretching all the way back, maybe even with Jersey, I guess. The bulk of the big winds on Cristobal are on the wrong side here. This is facing up this direction, so we're not going to see any of that. We're basically seeing here in South Florida, at least, we're seeing this fetch that now got combined with the circulation around Cristobal. So this fetch was already here to begin with. We're just combining it now into just a kind of a wider fetch going out. Let's go into now Wednesday morning. So we get that surge on Tuesday. Now we're going into Wednesday morning. The winds do lighten up. This right here is about 10 or so mile an hour with lighter winds over the land. We could even get a little bit of a land breeze to form in some areas. So light offshore wind in the morning, not out of the question. Whether it's completely glassy or not from this, I think there'll still be a little bit of a bump. But wait till I show the European, and you might think different here. But and this is a straight onshore wind here, because why does it happen? Well, the GFS has Cristobal way up here, and now it's finally starting to wind on up. But it never really picked up that kind of return flow coming out of the northwest or even southwest as the storm started to pull on away. So we didn't really get that. We do get the winds lightning in here, so that's good, but we don't get that offshore wind, so says the GFS. And then by Thursday morning, this is Thursday morning, 8 a.m., we see the winds pretty much light to calm across the entire state, which this time of year that would mean an offshore land breeze in the morning and then an onshore sea breeze in the afternoon. So by Thursday morning, super glassy out there, and it will be quite clean. The difference here is, I wanted to point this out, here's Cristobal here. There's no more, nothing else pointed at us. This is it. So the swell would quickly come to an end if we believe this model here. We're going to go a little bit further, and I wanted to point out this here too. There's another little tropical wave right here, and this is Friday mid-morning. Here's a tropical wave right there, and we'll advance this one more, and the tropical wave on Wednesday is right about here now. So something to watch here. This does have the possibility to spin up. And then, of course, your eye goes over here. Hey, we got another hurricane here. Of course, you know, the GFS is notorious for spinning up everything out there in the way long range. And this is the way, way long range here. But it's just an indication that, hey, things are going to start to get active. This is the time of year. That's not saying much, because time of year, this is the peak of hurricane season. We should start to see a bunch of these things start to go and start to spin up here. And I'll show you another reason why too. First, let's look at, and then here it is here too. And then the tropical wave possibly spinning up into something right here. You see southerly flow here, northeasterly flow here. All it takes is a little bit to possibly spin this up into something here. And then, of course, we got this out here too to wait for. And if this were to happen like this, you figure 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 days out. So now we're talking, I don't know, after the first week of September here, if that happens. It's way too far out to tell right now. All right, now let's look at the European. So this is Monday morning on the European, and such a different story this thing has going on. Look at this. I mean, this is a real nice deep fetch, all pointing at us. Look at that. All pointing down into Palm Beach County. We're going to get swell from this. It's building here. We see it starting on Sunday. I didn't have that map in here, but it's starting on Sunday. And notice it's, what's going on here with this thing? All right, there we go. So it's in a good location here and everything. There we go. Man, I thought this thing messed up again. I did 2 recordings yesterday, both of them without sound. I wasn't happy. So anyways, back to this. So notice too, let's go to Tuesday. This thing didn't move all that much. Look, right here. Hardly even moved. Monday, Tuesday, 24-hour time frame, it hardly does anything. But the European also has the big surge right here of northeast winds to make it a blown out, junky mess on Tuesday. I'm sure that's not going to stop anybody from surfing, but I'm saying it ain't going to be quality stuff there on Tuesday. It'll probably be biggest on Tuesday too, just because we're going to have swell behind it. We're going to have those strong northeast winds. Duck behind a jetty or a pier or something like that, you might be okay. I'm going to be out there looking for something, that's for sure. But here's a big difference too in what goes on in the future between this European and the GFS. And mind you, more weight is put on the European because so far it has been more correct with this storm. The Hurricane Center is putting more weight on this model too, saying it's not really believing the GFS as much. So it's good news for us surfers because the European here way better wave-wise than what the GFS is showing. So we want this one to be the one to come to fruition here. So this is Wednesday morning here. You'll notice it's a lot slower too. Wednesday morning, it's just even with around the Cape or Cocoa Beach. Well, we still have all this fetch right here. That's still pumping in something. And then for, Central Florida, like New Smyrna, like north of the Cape and up into North Florida, they still have a bunch of wind pointing at them too. This is going to prolong the swell. Instead of ending on Thursday, we may still get a little bit, or ending late Wednesday, Thursday, we may get a little bit push on into Friday and on into the weekend, especially up coast. So that'll be good news. And then check this out too. What we notice also is Wednesday morning, what do we have going on here? Well, we have an offshore wind. Because the European is saying not only is it a little bit closer, it's saying this is a little bit closer than the GFS had way out here, but it's also saying the circulation around this is a lot bigger that you see right here. And you see these, right here, offshore winds starting at probably, maybe right at Hobe Sound or right into Palm Beach County or the southern Martin County. We'll see those offshore winds start. And this is the morning too. So let's go to Friday morning or Thursday morning. So this is Wednesday morning. Thursday morning, the storm strengthens, but you see the core of the strong winds on the wrong side. All of this is pointing away from us up towards Hatteras. None of this really strong stuff, hurricane force winds, is pointing towards us. But we still do have some winds pointing at us here, especially we have, for North Florida or so, we have this part of the storm, and it's pointing towards you too, and we have a little bit of this pointing down to the south. So that's going to prolong the swell a little bit, because these waves take a little bit of time to get down here. We'll give it another day. That would mean the swell would still be propagating down here by Friday. So an extra day of swell here with the European so far. And then we kick it on out. This is 12Z. This is morning on Friday. So this really starts to accelerate to the northeast. So this is Thursday morning. Again, Thursday morning, still swell coming in, and everybody seeing offshore winds, just about. Maybe up into Jacksonville, you still kind of got a side shore wind with a north wind, but other than that, everybody's getting an offshore wind by that time, and we still have some swell coming in Thursday morning, so that's still gonna be some good conditions. Of course, dropping off as you head into South Florida, but cleaner conditions, and then the bigger the farther you head up north, because that's where more swell is going to be hitting up there. Friday morning, right here, check it out. We have light to calm wind, light to calm offshore wind, just a light puff of an offshore wind for everybody along the coast, from Jacksonville all the way down. I think the swell starts to diminish down to the south, but still Central Florida, Treasure Coast, Space Coast, and up New Smyrna and Jacksonville. Still going to see some swell pumping in. What else I notice here too, the way the European is doing it, we have this right here's the center of the storm. Now we have another nice northeast fetch starting to develop along the coast. Normally when a storm pulls away, it has its own little circulation here, and as it pulls away, we get no swell from that. A storm moving away from us like that, tropical system, we don't get swell as it moves away. But since we're getting this little fetch developing, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that gives a possibility of some more swell coming down, possibly by the weekend. Not talking big, but maybe knee-high or something, maybe slightly rideable. Hey, it's the holiday weekend. If we get another little surge from that, that would be fantastic. So, anyways, right now, my preliminary forecast here looks like this. Let's see if I can get rid of me. Don't know how to do that. There we go. All right, so my preliminary forecast, and this is going to change. I'm going to update this tonight, but for now, I'm saying on Monday, you know, we'll start to get maybe some knee-high trace lines coming on in. But up coast, we'll be talking about chest high or so for Monday up coast, but it's going to get blown out. Tuesday, a mess. Strong northeast winds, possibly even stronger than 20 knots. I mean, it could be approaching victory at sea conditions. So it's just going to be a mess, but this will be the biggest day. Shoulder high, maybe up to head high. We'll see. Then on Wednesday's the big question for the wind. I put in here east-northeast 8 to 12, so I've lightened it up, but there's a possibility that this could be west at 8 to 12 too. So we're going to say cleaning up on Wednesday with still a solid shoulder high or so swell coming on in. Then the swell drops on Thursday. I think either model, it's going to drop some on Thursday. It's not going to be quite as big, but believing more of the European, we're going to still say chest high or so for Palm Beach County. Bigger up coast, of course, they're going to be getting more swell up there. Now, Friday is in question here, depending on how the European model plays out and how this whole thing plays out. I think if it goes straight European model, then it will probably be bigger than this. But I've toned it down a little bit just because, you know, you can't believe the models the whole time, and I do think, you know, moving away, systems that move away aren't going to give quite as much swell. And then as we go into the holiday weekend, still a little bit too early to tell, but like I said, maybe we'll have a little knee-high swell, longboard type swell coming on in. The wind's going to turn around though to the southeast. As you see here, it's going to be light offshore in the morning and then southeast in the afternoon. All right, Windows, what is it doing to me? All right, so also I wanted to show you, because we have the peak of hurricane season coming up too. This is the MJO, the Mad-Julian Oscillation. We look at this. This is one time that it's really working out and coming true. We're in phase 1. This is where it is right here. So phase 1, and that's us. That is the Atlantic, Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, and the nearby Pacific too. So it's phase 1 right now. This gives it a little enhancement, like a little extra nudge for things to develop. The MJO does. And check it out. You couldn't get a better example than this right here. Look at that. If that's not an indication of a phase 1 MJO, I don't know what is. Everything's right here. So the MJO kind of moves in this direction though, so it moves opposite. I know you can't see this, but there you go. It moves opposite like this. So I think in 10-15 days or so, over here somewhere, that still gives us a little bit of enhancement. This will start to shut down here in about a week or so, but we still may see waves come off, start to spark up real quick as they head off in our direction. So we may be in for our little burst right here. That's what we've been waiting for. Hopefully they're all going to go like this, or not hit us, I mean. They're all going to curve out to sea, and we're going to see at least swell after swell from this as they curve out like that. That would be nice, wouldn't it? All right, well, thanks everybody for watching. That's it. And I'll have another one of these things coming up probably later tonight, if not late tonight after the show, like midnight or so. I'll update it when I can get all the data in here. Otherwise, I'll see you out in the water. It looks like we are getting some waves. See ya. Peace.